Very good morning, one and all.
Good morning, sir.
Very good morning. Slide is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Shall we start?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. In the second module, we left with only one topic, that is LED, light emitting diode. If you know the concept of photodiode and PN junction diode operations, if you know those two concepts, easily you can understand how the LED it will be performed, or how the light emitting diode it will be work. Correct. So light emitting diode means it is a semiconductor PN junction diode. It is a semiconductor PN junction diode. Correct. So here I need not to explain much about definition of an PN junction diode and the reverse and forward condition of an PN junction diode, in which condition you called as an forward bias, in at which condition you called as a reverse bias. This all the things I think in this moment I need not to explain, because of so many times so many in the classes we was discussed. Correct. So anybody, will you explain how the PN junction diode it will be work? If you explain that particular point directly, I will go to how your LED it will be work, or how the LED operation, the working operation of an LED, how we can extract from the definition of an PN junction diode. That part I will explain. Before that, anybody, will you explain which diagram I was displayed in the in your slide? As per the biasing, this particular PN junction diode is become forward. It's in the condition of forward bias condition or reverse bias condition.
Forward biased.
Forward bias, because of the p-type semiconducting material we are connected to positive terminal of the power supply, n-type semiconducting material you are connected to negative terminal of the power supply, and keep V will be equal to some voltage. That voltage is sufficient to turn on the diode. Sufficient to turn on the diode means what? If it is a silicon, the V value, the minimum V value, it will be equal to 0.7. If it is a germanium, the minimum V value will be equal to 0.3. Correct. So that much voltage have maintained with the help of an additional source. Correct. So then once you provide that much voltage to an PN junction diode, what are the phenomenon it will be happen here? What it will be happen if you provide this kind of an biasing to the PN junction diode?
Current flows.
Yeah. The charge carrier, it will be start migrating from one place to another place, because the p-type semiconducting material consisting of holes are the majority, n-type semiconducting material consisting of electrons are the majority. That all the positively charged carrier present in the p substrate, we are connected to the positive terminal of the power supply, the same charge. Correct. So hence there is a repulsive force, it will be initiated here. Correct. The same way, the negative charge carrier present in the n-type, you are connected to the negative terminal of the power supply. Here also there is a repulsive force, it will be experienced. Due to repulsive force, all the positively charged carrier, it will be start diffusing from p-type to n-type, and all the electron, it will be start diffusing from n-type to p-type. Correct. So when the ion movement is present across the depletion region, that condition only we are called as an forward bias condition of an PN junction diode. From this diagram, from this definition, we got to know that the LED it will be works during the forward bias condition. LED it will be works under the forward bias condition. At the same time, when we are providing a forward kind of an biasing to one PN junction diode, the depletion region it will be increase or decrease.
Decrease.
It will be decrease or increase.
Depletion region decreases, sir.
The depletion region it will be decreases. Correct. The depletion region it will be decreases. Then only the charge carrier easily it will be diffusing from one substrate to another substrate. Correct. So now while moving of an charge carrier from one substrate to another substrate, correct. So there is a chances of an recombination. There is a chances of an recombination. Just check it out. I will give you one small example along with the numerical value. Let us take the p-type semiconducting metal consisting of an 100 number of an holes and n-type semiconducting metal consisting of an 100 number of an electron. Correct. So out of 100, let us take few holes, a few minority charge carrier also present in the p substrate as well as the n substrate. Correct. So now, okay, we will take the majority in the p substrate consisting of an 100 number of holes, the n substrate consisting of an 100 number of an electron. When you are providing a biasing in the forward condition, in the forward direction, correct. So few holes it will be start diffusing from p type to n type. Let us take around 20 holes it will be start diffusing from p type to n type. The same way, the 20 electron it will be start diffusing from n type to p type. N type to p type, correct. So due to this kind of an diffusion, let us take the p substrate, correct. After the process of diffusion, correct. So initially 100 holes are there. Now the 20 holes it will be diffusing from p type to n type, correct. The remaining number of holes present in the p type, 100 minus 20, it will be 80. 100 minus 20, it will be 80. At the same time, it is gaining a 20 electron. Correct. Even electron is also diffusing from n type to p type. Correct. The totally number of charge carrier present in the p type 80 hole and 20 electron. 80 hole and 20 electron. Few minority is also there. Correct. So the minority in the p type, once again it is the electron. Let us take 80 hole, 30 electron, 20 diffused electron and 10 what are the minority it will be present already present in the p substrate. Correct. So total number of charge carrier is 80 volts plus 30 electron. Correct. So now there is a chances of an recombination. There is a chances of an recombination because of both the charge carriers are together. Both the charge carriers are together. Correct. So when the recombination process it will be happen. When the recombination process it will be happen. Correct. So due to that recombination, it will be emit some energy to outward. Correct. It will be emit some energy. That energy only we are treated as an light energy. That energy only we are treated as an light energy. Correct. So from this discussion, we got to know that due to recombination process, in the p-type as well as the n-type semiconducting, it will be releases the light that only we are called as an light emitting diode. Okay, this is the definition or this is the concept of how the LED it will be work. Correct. So now we will discuss some prerequisite and what type of an material we need to choose for the fabrication of an LED that we will discuss. Correct. So at the same time, in the first module itself, we was discussed indirect semiconducting material, indirect band gap semiconductor and direct band gap semiconductor. Correct. So what are the silicon and germanium widely we are using for the fabrication of an PN junction diode? Correct. So that silicon and germanium it's come under the direct semiconductor or indirect semiconductor. Your germanium and silicon is come under the direct semiconductor category or indirect semiconductor category?
Indirect.
Indirect semiconductor. Correct. So if you are using the silicon as well as the germanium for the fabrication of an for the fabrication of an light emitting diode, it will be emit the light. In the indirect band gap semiconductor, it will be emit the light when the recombination process it will be happen.
No, sir.
No, right? Correct. So then which type of a material we need to use for the fabrication of an LED?
Direct semiconductor.
Direct semiconductor, direct band gap semiconductor. Correct. So can you will you name few direct semiconductor materials? Gallium arsenide, gallium phosphate, gallium arsenide phosphate, silicon carbide, correct. So these are all come under the indirect band gap semiconducting material. Indirect band gap semiconducting material. Operation it will be same, correct? So even LED is also a PN junction diode. The normal diode is also a PN junction diode only, correct? But the material we used for the fabrication of an both normal PN junction as well as the LED, it will be a different, correct? Just for the fabrication of an PN junction diode, we are going to use some of the indirect band gap semiconducting material. For the construction of an LED, we have to use direct band gap semiconducting material. Correct? This is the one difference. At the same time, if you take the silicon as well as the germanium, correct? So what is the energy gap? What is the distance between the conduction band to valence band? Recombination process means what? What is the
Increase
definition of the
energy.
recombination? What you understand by the word recombination?
Electron go back to conduction band. So valence
No,
band.
electron not go back to conduction band. The electron it will be moving
Valence
from
band.
conduction to valence band. Conduction to valence band, correct? So now ಏನು ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ, correct? So initially ನೀವು energy band gap ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು semiconductor ಅಲ್ಲಿ initially the valence band is completely filled, correct? 4n layer ಇದ್ರೆ 4n layer of an electron it will be filled in the valence band. Correct. So when you are providing additional energy, correct, due to various method, increasing the temperature due to the sunlight, correct, whatever it may be, correct. So once the energy it will be given to the electron, those who are present in the valency band, that electron and only it will be moving from valence band to conduction band. Correct. So once again, when the electron it will be go back to its original destiny, go back to original means to the valence band, conduction band to valence band. Correct. So that process only we are called as an recombination. That process only we are called as an recombination. At the same time, once the electron it will be coming out of the valence band, it will be created a one hole, right? One hole in a sense it is a cavity. Correct. Once again, the same electron it will be fill that same cavity. Correct. So that process only we are called as an electron recombination. Electron recombination. If you are choosing the indirect band gap semiconducting material, correct? So there also recombination process it will be happen, correct? But at the time when the recombination it will be happen, the energy is also releases in that, but that energy it is in the form of heat. It is in the form of heat or invisible light radiations. Invisible light radiation, correct? So what are the material you are use? The direct band gap semiconductor, correct? So during the recombination process in the direct band gap semiconducting material, it will be releases the energy in the form of light, visible range frequencies, correct, in the form of light. This is the difference between the direct band gap semiconductor as well as the indirect band gap semiconductor. Correct. So will you name few application of an direct band gap semiconducting material as well as the indirect band gap semiconducting material? Or if directly I can ask for what is the application of an PN junction diode and what is the application of an LED? Easily you can name more application of an LED, correct? So nowadays, what are the bulbs we are using and what are the TV screen we are using? What are the display we are using for the electronic gadgets? Correct. Not only phone, mobile and laptop and TV and all, correct. So nowadays we are using the display for many applications. Even washing machine also we have a display. Even the fridge, refrigerator also we have a display, correct. So in all the display and all we are using the LEDs only, light emitting diode, correct. These are all the application of an LED. At the same time, will you name few application of an infrared radiation kind of an PN junction diode? Other than rectifier, what you learned, excluding those applications, will you name few applications of infrared radiations kind of and diodes or semiconducting materials?
Remote.
Remote, exactly, you are right. Correct. So what are the LEDs we are using in the remote? It may be a TV remote or it may be a many electronic gadget controlling remote. It may be a AC or it may be a fan or it may be a TV or it may be a refrigerator, whatever it may be. Correct. So what are the LEDs we are using in your remotes? Correct. So it will be transmitted a signal to that particular electronic gadget, but that light we are not able to sense. Our eyes is not able to sense because of that frequency range in the range of infrared radiations. infrared radiations, correct? So here from this discussion, one thing we got to know that once again, correct? So if we are using energy gap less than 1.8 electron volt, less than 1.8 electron volt, it will be radiate the radiation, correct? So it will be radiate the radiation, but that radiation is not in the visible light range. It is not in the visible light range, correct? So if we are choosing a material, indirect band gap semiconducting material, those who have energy gap is more than 1.8 electron volt, more than 1.8 electron volt, those kind of an materials or those kind of an PN junction diode, it will emit a light at the time of recombination process. It will be emit the light at the time of recombination process, correct? So that thing only I have listed here, just check it out. This is the same LED diagram only. In terms of energy band diagram I have represented. In terms of energy band diagram I have represented, correct? So our basic color RGB, from the RGB only we are going to derive the many number of colors and all, right? The main three colors is RGB, correct? Red, green and blue, correct? So just check it out here. For the red color, just greater than 1.8 electron volt. The energy gap should be greater than 1.8 electron volt. Compared to red, green is little higher energy gap. Compared to blue, with the green and red, it having a more energy gap, correct? So if you increase or if you choose a material in such a way that those material having an higher energy gap, correct? So you can get the different type of an lights, different color lights here, correct? So just check it out here. This is aluminum gallium arsenide, correct? So indium gallium nitrate, correct? So these are having the different types of an energy gaps, correct? So I will show the spectrum here. Just check it out here. Up to 1.8 electron volt from the ground, from up 0 to 1.8 electron volt. This is the infrared radiation range. This is the infrared radiation range. Even your silicon diode is also emitting the light, correct? Even germanium diode is also emitting the light. Your silicon energy gap, it will be 1.2 electron volt. Your germanium energy gap, it will be equal to 0.74 electron volt, correct? So even those two diode also, it will be emit the light, but unfortunately that light in the range of infrared, it is invisible to our eyes, or it is invisible to our eyes, correct? So those material having energy gap more than 1.8 electron volt, more than 1.8 electron volt, it will be released as the colored, correct? Just check it out. First we will get the red, the second one we will get the yellow, the third one we will get the green, and the fourth one we will get the blue. The top one, correct? So the top one, in a sense, which material having the huge energy gap, which material having the huge energy gap, that kind of an material, it will be produced as the blue and violet colored light at the time of recombination process, correct? So some people have a confusion, more energy gap, in a sense, how much energy gap we need to choose? More than 3 electron volt, more than 4 electron volt, more than 5 electron volt, correct? So if you are choosing that kind of an semiconductor material, so probably we will get a different kind of an color, something, definitely some question it will be arises in your mind, correct? So in the initial day only I have given this kind of an comparison in between the semiconductor as well as the insulator, correct? So how much energy, maximum energy you can give it to the valence band electron? Up to what extent it is possible has to give an energy to the valence band electron?
3.
3, correct? So if you're trying to give more than 3 electron volt, that particular element or that particular device, it will be burnt off. The physical shape of that material, it will be changing, correct? So plastic anta tagondaga, it will be start melting. Wood anta tagondaga, it will be start burning, correct? So complete physical structure, it will be varied, correct? So only up to 3 electron volt we can use those material having 3 electron volt of an energy gap. Only those kind of a material we can use for the generation of an different types of colors, different types of colors, It is clear, correct? So starting from the red color type of an material, it having the less energy gap. Less energy gap under S2 more than 1.8 electron volt. This thing you keep in your mind, more than 1.8 electron volt, correct? So huge energy gap kind of a metal, it will be produced as the violet colored light. But what is the energy gap level there? The energy gap, it will be equal to 3 electron volt or greater than 2.5, less than 3 electron volt. Greater than 2.5, less than 3 electron volt, such material, it will be produced as the blue colored light or violet colored light. It is clear. Up to 1.8, even that material also it will be produced as the light, but that light frequency, it is in the form of infrared frequency. Okay, so just for understanding that, I am using a one equation here. Just check it out. Eg, correct? So now easily you can ask a one questions to me, correct? So due to the recombination means what are the electron it will be present in the conduction band? Again, that electron it will be go back to the valence band. Go back to the valence band mean in a sense what? That electron once again it will be occupy that vacancy state, means hole, correct? So this process only we are called as a recombination process, right? This process only we are called as an recombination process. At the same time, I have already told, correct? So which frequency of the material it will be very high, or which material it will be produced as the more frequency, correct? So that frequency kind of an signal it will be produced as the blue color line, blue color light as well as the violet colored light. Because of, just check it out here, Eg it will be equal to h mu or hf. Correct. H is the Planck's constant, mu or f is the frequency of the signal. Frequency of the signal, correct? So now easily you can ask, correct, after the recombination process, how much energy it will be releases, correct? Even this material or this material, even this material, correct? Or for moving or for skipping or for giving an energy to that particular electron for coming out of the valency band and moving to the conduction band, how much energy we needed to provide, correct? So for that question, answer is for creating a movement of an electron from valency band to conduction band, we needed to provide slightly greater than the Eg value. Slightly greater than the Eg value. Then only the electron it will be moving from valence band to conduction band. Correct. At the same time, when the same electron once again it will be go back to its valence band or original destiny, even that situation also it will be released as the energy in terms of an photon. That photons only we are represented as an h mu or hf. Correct. So that energy level it's slightly less than the Eg value. Slightly less than the Eg value. ನೀವು ಇದನ್ನ ವೇಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಇಂದ ಕಂಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಗೆ ಜಂಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಸಕ್ಕೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಎನರ್ಜಿನ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀರಾ, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್, ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಎನರ್ಜಿನ ಅದು ರೀಕಾಂಬಿನೇಷನ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್? ಸೊ ನೀವು ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 2 ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ವೋಲ್ಟ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿನ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಜಂಪ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಸೊ ಪ್ರಾಬಬ್ಲಿ ದಟ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ರಿಲೀಸಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ 1.9 electron volt or 1.8 electron volt of an energy to us when it will be go back to its original destiny. Correct. So adನ್ನ jump ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ slightly greater than Eg. Correct. So after the recombination process, it will be provided the energy, that value it is slightly less than the Eg value. This concept you people should aware about that. Okay, so this is the working operation of an LED, and from this diagram, so we got to know that which type of an material we needed to choose for generating the which type of an colored light, which type of an colored light. Okay, this is all about your LED. Okay, so any doubt in the LED part? Any doubt in the LED?
Yes, sir.
LED working operation as well as the construction?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, this is all about your second module. This is all about your second module. In the second module, I have left only one topic, that is photo detector. That only one topic I have left out, photo detector. Photo detector is also called as an PIN diode, PIN, PIN diode. Correct. So why I have left that particular topic means, if you know this all the concept, what are the concept we was learned, solar cell concept and photo diode concept and LED concept. If you know the concept of these three, nothing is there in the photo detector. It is same as photodiode, that's all. Correct. Only small, only 5 to 10% of the working operation as well as the construction it will be get modified. Other than everything it will be same. It is a just theoretical kind of a discussion. I already uploaded the notes in the Google Classroom. Once you go through that particular topic, if you get any confusion, you can ask to me. Correct. Still you are not able to understand that particular concept. No problem. One day I will explain in the regular class itself. Okay, so this is all about your second module. Okay, so you people have any doubt in the second module, you can ask me at any point of time, no problem. Correct. So we will move to the next chapter, third chapter, bipolar junction transistor. Before entering to the first topic, we will see briefly, we will check it out fastly, we will check it out. What are the concepts we are going to encounter under this module? Correct. Bipolar junction transistor. Under this topic, we are going to study first topic is fundamentals of BJT operations. Fundamentals of BJT operation. This is all about up to till now. What are the informations you have gathered in the first semester in the basic electronics subject in the BJT concept. Correct. The same thing once again we have to revise it here. Correct. So then we will move to the amplification with BJTs. Amplification with BJTs. This discussion we are going to do along with some of the mathematical equations. Not derivation, some of the 4 to 5 mathematical equations. Correct. The next one, BJT fabrication. How we are going to fabricate a bipolar junction transistor. What are the steps? What are the process? Correct. So how we have to follow the steps, which is the first step, which is the second step, which is the third step. These things we are going to learn in this particular topic. Then we will move to the coupled diode model. The coupled diode model. Correct. Coupled diode. Will you tell me anybody? Will you tell me what is the meaning of that coupled diode? This topic is also called as an Ebers-Moll model. Coupled diode. The transistor can be constructed with the help of two diodes. Will you people aware about this? Back-to-back connection of a 2 PN junction diode. It will give the same function of NPN transistor as well as the PNP transistor. NPN transistor as well as the PNP transistor. How we can connect, I will show to you in the coming classes. Correct. So only we are called as an coupled diode model. Correct. So the transistor we are using mainly for two operations. One is amplification. The second one is the switching. Correct. So here the amplification part also we need to discuss, and switching operations also we need to discuss in this chapter. Correct. So after this, I mean, once the transistor, it will be operated in the cutoff, how its behavior, it will be operated in the saturation, how its behavior, switching cycles and specifications. Correct. And the last two topic is drift in the base region, base narrowing, avalanche breakdown. I think easily you can get the answer, or easily you can guess the answer. What is drift in the base region? What is base narrowing? Correct. And what is avalanche breakdown? Already avalanche breakdown concept we are already studied. Correct. I hope you people are aware about punch through effect. In the last topic itself we was discussed that title, that word, punch through effect. Punch through effect. Correct. So once again the same concept we are going to discuss under the base narrowing concept. Under the base narrowing concept. Correct. So this is all about your third module. For third module also we are going to refer your first textbook only. Out of two textbook we have to follow the first textbook only. Correct. Ben G. Streetman and Sanjay Kumar. This textbook only we have to use for the third module also. Okay. So once again we will move to the first topic. Fundamentals of BJT. Anyway, we will start from the definition. Anybody, will you tell me the definition of an bipolar junction transistor? Before the definition, anybody, will you tell me what is the difference between unipolar junction transistor and bipolar junction transistor? Anyway, unipolar junction transistor, that is not there in your syllabus. Directly they are started from BJT, but it is a necessity to know the difference between the UJT and BJT.
Sir, that is unipolar is unidirectional, sir. This is bidirectional.
Mm-hmm.
Low It has low impedance, sir.
Okay.
Unipolar. This has high
Unipolar
impedance.
junction transistor means only one type of an charge carrier is enough to conduction of that particular element. Correct? So only one type of an charge carrier. How many type of charge carrier are there? There are two type of an charge carrier. One is hole, the another one is the electron. Correct? Out of these two type of an charge carrier, only one type of an charge carrier, only one type of an charge carrier is enough to conduction of that particular device. Correct? So that kind of a device we are called as an unipolar junction transistor. Correct. So in the transistor, there is a two category, unipolar and bipolar. But what about FET, field effective transistor? Any idea? Anyway, we have to discuss in the fourth module. Correct. So your FET belongs to UJT and BJT. Field effective transistor, it belongs to UJT category and BJT category. It is UJT, unipolar junction transistor category. Correct. FET belongs to UJT. Correct. So bipolar junction transistor means both type of an charge carrier we require for the conduction of that particular element. Correct. Both type andre electronu matte holes. Adralli yavado one majority irutte, one minority irutte. That is no problem. That is a secondary, but we required both type of an charge carrier for the conduction of that element. Correct. So such devices we are called as an bipolar junction transistor. Correct. So once again, bipolar junction transistor we are classified into an two type. One is N type, the another one is the P type. Sorry, one is NPN transistor, the another one is the PNP transistor. Correct. We will check it out how the symbolical representation of both and how the construction detail it will be. Correct. So anyway, anybody will tell me the definition of an BJT, bipolar junction transistor? Don't read out what the definition I have displayed in the slide. What the information you are aware about the BJT, just tell to me. What is bipolar junction transistor definition? What is the definition of an PN junction diode? PN junction diode is a uni-terminal, unidirectional device. One is P type, the another one is the N type. The P type we called as an anode, the N type we called as an cathode. Correct. So the same way we have to write a definition for one bipolar junction transistor also. ಏನಪ್ಪ ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ ಬಿಜೆಟಿದು ಬೈಪೋಲಾರ್ ಜಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟರ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಕಂಪೋಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೇಳಿ. Because of bipolar, the BJT concept is not new to you. Fast, please don't waste the time.
So it amplifies weak signals.
Yes, the bipolar junction transistor, it is used as an amplifier. Amplifier means it will be enhance the weak signal. It will be strengthen the weak signal. That is the application of the transistor. I am asking about definitions.
Sir,
Okay,
three-terminal, two-junction semiconductor diode.
Exactly. Bipolar junction transistor is a three-terminal device. Three-terminal means what? One is base, the another one is the emitter, the third one is the collector. It is a three-terminal device and it consisting of an two junction. It consisting of an two junction. Correct. So one junction is in between base to emitter. Base is the reference here. Correct. Base to emitter one junction, base to collector one junction. Base to emitter junction simply we can call it as an JE. Simply we can represent it as an J suffix E. Correct. And base to collector junction we are referred as base to collector junction, or simply we can refer it as JC. Simply we can refer it as JC. Correct. At the same time, the transistor can be configured in three ways: common base configuration, common emitter configuration, common collector configuration. The transistor, it will be operated in any one of the mode out of four. Any one of the mode out of four. What are the four mode of operations of the transistor? One is active region, the second one is the saturation region, the third one is the cutoff region, the fourth one is the breakdown region. Correct. So when the transistor, it will be operated in the active region, it will be act like an amplifier. It will be act like an amplifier. When the transistor, it will be operated in the saturation as well as the cutoff. When the transistor, it will be operated in the saturation region as well as the cutoff region. That two condition we are referred as representing the switching function of a transistor. Referred as a switching function of an transistor. Why we are using the two mode of operation of the transistor? We are using for representing the switching actions. Switch means what? There are two modes are there. One is on mode, the another one is the off mode. On mode of the switch we have represented with the help of an saturation region. Correct. The cutoff region we are using for representing the switch off condition. Saturation on condition, cutoff off condition. Correct. So breakdown, obviously you people are aware. Correct. So up to some extent your diode, it will be tolerate in the reversing mode. Correct. So once we exceed that limitation due to very high reverse current, the diode, it will be break up. Correct. So that breakup condition only we are called as a breakdown region. Correct. Breakdown region. We will forget the breakdown region, and there are majorly three modes of operation are there. One is active region, second one is the saturation region, and fourth one is the cutoff region. Correct. This is the brief introduction about bipolar junction transistor. This is a brief introduction about bipolar junction transistor. It is clear? Correct. So now we will see the construction detail of an bipolar junction transistor. Correct. Construction detail of an bipolar junction transistor. I already told for BJT it have a two type. Correct. One is the NPN transistor. The another one is the PNP transistor. Correct. For the PNP transistor, we need to choose two P-type semiconducting material and one N-type semiconducting material. Correct. So that 2P and 1N, how we have to arrange for getting the PNP condition? Correct. So in between 2P, we have to place a 1N. In between 2P, we have to place a 1N. That kind of an construction we are called as an PNP transistor. The same way, in between 2N, if you place a 1P, that it will be gives the NPN construction, NPN transistor construction. Correct. So just check it out here. There are three terminal I already told. One is collector, one is base, the another one is the emitter. Correct. In the NPN transistor or PNP transistor, the middle one always it is a base. The middle one it's always it is a base. Correct. So the symbolical representation of the PNP and NPN transistor I have displayed in the slide. Correct. So if the current arrow mark, now easily you can check it here in the emitter terminal, we have a current arrow mark for the PNP as well as the NPN. Correct. That arrow mark, if it is moving towards the network, if the arrow mark it's moving towards the network, that kind of an transistor we are called as an PNP transistor. If the same arrow mark it is coming out of the network, it is moving out of the network. Correct. So that arrow mark reference we are using for representing the NPN transistor. Correct. This all the information you people already aware. Correct. At the same time, I will ask you one basic questions here. Correct. So once we coming to the doping concentration of an transistor, doping concentration of an transistor, here there are three substrates are there, semiconducting devices are there. Correct. If you take an PNP, two P type are there, one is N type are there. Correct. So out of these three substrate, correct. So we are using the uniformly doped kind of an substrate or non-uniformly doped kind of an substrate we are using for the construction of a transistor. For the construction of a transistor, we have to use the uniformly doped three substrates or non-uniformly doped three substrates. It may be NPN or it may be a PNP. In between 2P, if you place a N, it will become PNP. If in between a 2N, if you place a P, it will become NPN.
Different.
Yeah, we have to use the different doping concentrations. Yes, exactly. You are right. We have to use the different doping concentration for the construction of an transistor. Generally transistor, it may be NPN or it may be a PNP. Correct. So will you tell me which is morely doped and which is lightly doped and which is moderately doped? With respect to terminal, will you able to distinguish which is lightly, which is more, which is moderately? All the three cases we are using here: highly doped, moderately doped, lightly doped, which is heavily doped, which is lightly doped, and which is moderately doped out of 3 substrates?
The emitter is lightly doped, base is moderately, and collector is highly doped, sir.
Okay, any corrections? Any corrections or any different answers? As per your friend, emitter is lightly, base is moderately, collector is heavily doped. It is true? It is true. Any different answers?
Sir, collector is highly doped, emitter is moderately doped. Sir.
Okay, once again it's wrong.
Sir, emitter is heavily doped and base is lightly doped, and collector is moderately doped.
Exactly, you are right. Correct. Emitter is heavily doped. Emitter is heavily doped. Base is lightly doped. Collector is moderately doped. Once again, I will repeat. Emitter terminal means it may be NPN transistor or PNP transistor. Correct. So don't worry about type of an transistor. Correct. So which side the emitter terminal is there or which substrate you are connected to a emitter terminal, that substrate should be a heavily doped. Correct. Middle one always it is the base, either PNP or NPN. Correct. So the base is always it is the lightly doped, least doped substrate it is. Correct. Collector is the moderately doped. It is clear. Collector is moderately, emitter is heavily, base is lightly. Correct. So on the numerical value ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೇಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ emitter ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಅದು it may be electron or it may be a hole. It's based on PNP and NPN vary ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Correct. So 100 ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ ಎಮಿಟರ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಕಲೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 80 ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ, ಬೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು 20 ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. Correct. So in such a way that we are going to use the doping concentrations for the construction of an PNP transistor as well as the NPN transistor. Correct. So I already we was discussed it consisting of an 2 junction. Correct. So one junction it is in between the base and emitter. Correct. For representing the junction you have to use base terminal as the reference. Base terminal as the reference. One junction is between base to emitter, either in PNP as well as NPN. The another junction is present in between the base to collector. Base to collector, base to emitter. Base to emitter you can call other word use madadru call ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. Base to emitter junction ಅಂತನಾದ್ರೂ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು, or simply you can call it as an JE. Simply you can call it as an JE. JE stand for emitter junction ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. Correct. At the same time base to collector junction is also you can call it as an JC. JC stand for collector junction. JC stand for collector junction. Correct. So with respect to junction, Rajwal, with respect to the junction, correct, how we are going to do the biasing of an transistor for getting the function of transistor amplification, for the getting the function of an switch. Correct. That we will check it out now. Correct. So for the biasing of an transistor, how many power supplies we required? External power supplies we required. For the PN junction diode, one power supply is sufficient for us. But in your transistor, how many external power supplies we required for the biasing?
2.
How many power supplies? 2 power supplies. Correct. So one power supply we are using for biasing the base to emitter junction. The another power supply we are using for biasing the base to collector junction. Correct. So just check it out here. I already told the transistor concept we can analyze with the help of an 2 diode connections. Correct. How the diode you are going to connect, just check it out here. Correct. So PN, it will become one diode. NP, it will become one diode. The back-to-back connection of a 2 PN junction diode, it will be provide the same function of PNP transistor as well as the NPN transistor. Will you got it? Correct. At the same time, what the information we are already aware or already we have, already we was discussed in the previous first module as well as it is in the second module. The same information, the same concept only we are using for analyzing the transistor also. Correct. Now diode concept bit ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಹೋಗಿಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿ. even ಈ junction analyze ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೂ diode concept ತಗೊಂತೀವಿ. ಈ junction analyze ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೂ diode concept ತಗೊಂತೀವಿ. diode ಅಂತ ಬಂದ್ರೆ only there are two mode of operations are there. One is forward bias operation. The second one is the reverse bias operation. Correct. So if you know the forward and reverse operation of an PN junction diode, easily you can analyze the concept of an NPN transistor as well as the PNP transistor. It is clear? Correct. So now if you are using a two different type of an external voltages for biasing your PNPN as well as the PNP transistor, correct, how we will get the mode of operations of an transistor, we will check it out now. Correct. So I already told emitter junction, what that junction we called as an JE, collector junction, that junction is simply we can called as an JC athwa EB CB engadru karkoli. Okay, so now just check it out. Anyway, JE junction as well as the JE junction as well as the JC junction means what? Both are, this is also a PN junction diode, this is also a PN junction diode. Correct. I already told PN junction diode under there are two mode of operations are there. One is forward, the another one is the reverse. Correct. So excluding these two, nothing is there. Correct. The same way we are analyzing here. Correct. So when the JE junction is become forward bias, JC junction is become reverse bias. I will repeat once again. JE is become forward bias, JC is become reverse bias. That kind of an operation we are called as an active mode of operation of an transistor. Correct. The same time when both the junction it will become forward bias. When both the junction or both the diode it will be become forward bias. That condition we are analyzed as an, we are called as an saturation region, saturation condition. Correct. At the same time when both the junction it will be become reverse bias. Correct. So this region we are used for representing the cutoff region. We are used as an cutoff region. Correct. And one more is there, actually this inverting region we are using in the, I mean what I call diode coupled model or Ebers-Moll model. Correct. It is a big derivation actually in this chapter. It involves nearly 30 equations. Correct. So in that derivation we are using this condition, inverting mode condition we are using. Correct. So inverting mode means what? What is the active mode conditions are there? That is the reverse of this. Correct. So in the active mode JE is become forward, JC is become reverse, but in the inverting mode JE is become reverse and JC is become forward. Correct. So instead of calling the opposite of the active, it is the inverted mode. It is the inverted mode. Only in that derivation we are using this concept, but excluding this fourth one, or majorly or generally we have only three mode of operation. One is active mode, saturation mode, cutoff mode. For the active, JE is become forward, JC is become reverse. Saturation, both the junction should become forward. For the cutoff, both the junction should become reverse bias condition. Correct. So I already told active mode means what? The transistor it will be act like an amplifier. Correct. Saturation and cutoff, these two conditions we are using for representing the switching action. Saturation, switch on condition, cutoff, switch off condition. Okay, these two conditions we are using. Okay, so in such a way that we are going to analyze a one transistor as an amplifier, as an switch. Correct. So one thing we got to know that for getting an for working on your transistor into the amplifier as into the switching mode, we have to do the biasing first. We have to do the biasing. For biasing to that your transistor, we require two external sources. It may be a DC source or it may be AC source. Generally, we require two DC source here. Okay, so this is about your transistor. Still a few concepts are there about the transistor. We will discuss in the next class. Okay, so you people have any doubt up to till now what we was discussed with respect to transistor?
No, sir.